Okay. All right, so your boy got to get right on it, man. This is the 22nd Deuce Deuce episode of the Optimistic Knick Fan, and this is where the work begins, man. The work begins right here, okay? It is time to get to the off season. First of all, let me give a shout out to the Indiana Pacers. I mean, look, controversy's not, controversies aside, I think it was some horribly missed calls. But that's not the Indiana Pacers are on their trip to the finals. Even if the game one goes the way it was supposed to go, at worst you have a series going back to Monday for game seven. And the way the Pacers were playing, they probably win. Knicks could have. I will say this again. To me, I think the Knicks underachieved given the opportunity that they had. Um, we should have played better. I still think we have the better roster, but we didn't play it like it. It's as simple as that. I mean, we played right into their hands tonight. We had chances to take a lead, extend the lead. Again, bad execution, and that really is going to be the theme. I mean, like all of the swing stats, all of the stats that swing a game, the turnovers, points off turnovers, points in the paint, points off threes, second chance points. I mean, we had Mitchell Robinson getting five offensive rebounds in a quarter, and yet we didn't beat them in second chance points. And these are the things that I mean, the theme, and again, this was the theme I had coming into the playoffs. I felt the Knicks would beat the Pistons. I had a feeling that we would beat the Celtics. I had a feeling, again, I think, again, a lot of people say the Knicks got lucky because the Celtics do what they do. Again, the Celtics shoot threes. When they didn't make threes, they became an average team. This is what they do. Again, the Knicks were severely underrated and underestimated. And when we beat Celtics, now you're coping with reasons. Now, again, we come to the Pacers. I knew how dangerous the Pacers were, but I expected the Knicks, especially having the momentum we did, dominating the Celtics in Game 6 like we did. And that's really going to be a theme of the offseason because offensively, you got the talent level is there. The way the Knicks were playing in the first quarter of the season, offensively, the numbers wise, we were 50-40. To shoot 50% and 40% from three, shoot 50% overall and 40% for three. And we did that for a good 10 to 15 games, I believe. And again, when Karl-Anthony Towns had he was shooting about 50% from three at one point. And I really want, because a lot, I've got people telling me that our Carlton Town should be traded, tagging me in posts. They say that Carlton Town should be traded. Let's understand something here. Carlton Towns is a special offensive player. Seriously, I mean, again, we know that the zestiness, the softness. I've always been a critic of Carlton Towns throughout his career on that, but he is a special. Like he's a guy who, when you see him cooking, he makes the game look easy. His 3-point touch is elite for a 7-footer. It really is. He does have a claim of being. I'll say this: he is the best outside shooting big man of all time. You can make a claim of that. Because when you say the best, remember Dirk Nowitzki had a post up game in the mid range, and had a mid range go to package that was unmatched. Well, Towns is a 3-and-D big man, which is crazy. You think about that. He's either gonna go to the basket, he's gonna work out the post, the low post, not the mid post, or you're gonna pop him out for a three. You're gonna set him up for a three. Again, the pick and pop situation. I don't know why he didn't have as much chemistry with Brunson as need be. But I think again, I need the next coach to, and again, you're gonna have all the prognosis. Well, how could you get rid of Tibbs? He got you to the conference finals. You got to see. I mean, I'm the optimistic Knicks fan. I'm the realistic Knicks fan. The Knicks are not a fucking second rank. And I'm gonna say this: Again, I know people will troll me by calling the Knicks a poverty franchise. See, like there's a whole generation that's all they know is Knick ineptitude. And I can sit there and walk you step by step where the Knicks guys came down this road. They came down this road because an owner named James Dolan, again, again, he's come around to do a lot of good things. But an owner named James Dolan pretty much took over basketball operations and ran it his way. And ran it based on guys who were recommended to him, who simply pretty much came in and stole a lot of money and did a horrible job. Let's start with Scott Lane. Let's start with the guy. Let's start even before Scott Lane. Let's start with the guy who drafted. And I can't even remember his name at this point. I don't want to remember his name. I'm guessing it was one of them freaking, oh, Jesus Christ. But anyway, drafted Frederick Weiss over, again, you coming off the 99 finals. You got a hometown team, the St. John's Red Storm, who just went to the Elite Eight. All right. They damn near got to the Final Four. And they had a young guy named Ron Artest, a local kid from my high school class of 97. And he got to the conference finals. He got to the Elite Eight, so the regional finals. Team was good over, he came out after 2 years and he was sitting there at the 15th pick. The Knicks drafted Frederick Weiss. Now, again, I get it that Patrick Ewing was getting on, but did these guys, did whoever ran the Knicks organization really take a look at Frederick and say, this is the guy who's going to send us? Jesus Christ, the guy we seen what Vince Carter did to him what the hell did this guy see to not sit there and not tack on what we had in look, the Knicks' bad draft selections, the bad free agent signings, the bad trades. Like the Knicks just did everything you could go wrong. And the worst part about it is they made money every step of the way doing it because the Knicks are a fan base that is ravenous. We support our team no matter what. We don't have empty seats. The Garden's hot ticket that it was throughout the 90s remains that way up until this very day in 2025. So the Knicks are going to have to wait, unfortunately, until 2026 so we can compete for a championship again. And the years is running out, man. I was a fucking teenager when I dreamed of a Knicks championship parade. And I'm still here dreaming it. So again, I'm getting trolled by all these arrogant Celtics fans and all these arrogant again, none of these guys who troll me will ever tell me proudly who their team is, unless they are the Celtics or Lakers. But when you go down to it, they're not really Celtics or Laker fans. They know nothing about their team. They don't even know anything about the team. They didn't even see the team that was built now that there's contending coming. They know nothing about their teams. I know every step of the way for the Knicks. Certain moves I forgot, but I could just sit there again. I did a video, I did a live talking about the long hard history of the Knicks, and it has been one. Again, we have this local guy named Ron Artest, and we didn't go there. Then we go to the Scott Layden era. Scott A. Layden, his bland moves. Somebody had to tell Dolan, dude, this guy's off-season plan is to get Greg Ostertag and bring him to the Knicks. Think about this. Greg, we would have seen a Patrick. So, okay, after Layden was fired, start the Isaiah Thomas era. Then you had optimism. One of the first thing he did was trade for local boy, Stephen Marbury. Now, a lot of people will say Steph was not the guy that we needed. He was not the guy. I call cap on the bullshit. He was indeed the guy we needed. Problem is, we did not build a team with him there. We didn't, again, and this is always kind of the theme, man. Always the bride, never the bride. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Where we get it, we're in the party, we're in the show, but we're not the one on the center stage. We're missing a piece. You got Marbury with you built a decent team around it, but it basically was based on no style. You had, you didn't have a defensive identity. You had Larry Brown coach the team. He tried to break everybody's game down individually. Again, it was because Larry Brown wanted a share the ball defensive team type option. That's what this North Carolina coaching tree was all about. To George Karl, all these guys, St. Phil Ford, all these guys from the North Carolina, they coach under Dean Smith pretty much. The late great Dean Smith kind of was the same way, but Larry Brown was stubborn to his North Carolina way, you know. So again, Larry Brown after winning the Celtics, the Pistons championship was a 1 year flop in New York. They go to I don't think they went to Lenny Wilkins after that. I'm not sure. And then eventually that didn't work out, and I think Lenny Wilkins might have closed before. I would have to look at the history. I'm telling you something. It's not that I've blocked off those years, but again, they were so disappointing. The trades that Isaiah made, he made trades for current guys, not realizing the guys later on, like he traded 2 first-round picks. He didn't put any protection on it to get Eddie Curry. And the next thing you know, LaMarcus, you get the second pick of the draft. The Knicks lottery was the second pick of the draft, and he went to Chicago. LaMarcus Aldridge wound up getting traded he had a good long career in Portland. Marcus Aldridge was a great player, probably the best player out of that '06 draft. And then you had '07. Again, this is back when you could trade your pick 2 years in a row. In '07, we traded we traded a pick that I expect turned into Joakim Noah, a defensive player of the year. Again, Bulls had him for a while. And boy, the Bulls just kind of just ate off of us. Well, Eddie Curry was pretty much out of the league by 2008. Shame. 7 years in his career, he was pretty much done. He picked up with the Miami Heat a couple of years ago, but Curry was brought in to be a Shaq foil, guy that can physically stay there with Shaq. He was never a Shaq level of athlete, but he had a lot of skill around the basket and the post and everything else. And so all right, man. Look, I can go through Knicks history all day. The fact of the matter is, all of the suffering that we've done, and all the mediocrity. Again, by 2010, 10 years out, we go after Melo. We go after LeBron. Didn't work. Didn't get him. Then the next option was go to Melo. That's what Worldwide West and Leon Rose, who now are in the building to right all the wrongs of the past, did. And but it wasn't them running the show. And the draft picks we made were deplorable right after the trade. Not drafting Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's rookie year was 2011. Not drafting Nikola Jokic by 2014. Not drafting Rudy Gobert in 2013. You got guys that are going to the Hall of Fame. Like they're like so the Melo era was giving a lot to Melo. All the talk about Melo hating on Linsanity. Again, this is why I'm glad I have a channel, man. Because I'm so sick of the lies. I'm so sick of the fucking narratives that weren't even true. That, again, that's the thing. The Knicks are a team that get publicity, and it's always negative, no matter what. Two players on the Sacramento King or Portland Trailblazers could be having a heated bench discussion. Nobody cares. As soon as someone does that on the New York Knicks, it's front page national news. And it's crazy. It's crazy, but it is what it is. This is good. The light shines brighter. The light shines brighter in New York. And that's something that a lot of players, see, that's the thing. When you say to call the Knicks a poverty franchise, a lot of players have ducked that smoke. They've ducked the smoke. So now the Knicks players, and even Julius Randle now, again, and I do think Julius Randle had a point that the fans and the media is too negative, and it seems like you're playing with such. But again, Julius Randle, bro, realize whatever it did, it made you, and maybe you just wasn't technically built for here. You dealt with it. You got the money from it. But you went because you became a star here. You became an all-star. You make two all-star, three all-star teams and two All-NBA teams. And if you didn't get your shoulder separated, you probably would have been on three All-NBA teams. And you had a nice little season there and a nice playoff run there in Minnesota. You played in your first conference finals. But yeah, again, a lot, the players here go through a lot. And I get it, but you either built for it or you're not. And again, I said this with the Knicks. These players got to pay for the sins the Knicks past, right? You got to hear all of this. The Knicks are a cursed franchise. The Knicks will never win, blah, 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 bullshit. We won't win until we actually put our foot down, put our hand on the pulse, and build a team that wins and then goes out and execute. That's when we'll win. I don't hear no bullshit about, man, fuck the Miss Cleo shit. If I want to get into what really happened with the Knicks and the Knicks culture, again, I want to point to the 1950 and see people will be bored. People will be bored by that. What? You had the 1950 point shaving scandal? Well, yeah, that pretty much got the five of the 10 biggest college programs prior to 1950 were in New York City. And most of them shut their doors to basketball. So being that because the scandal was such a big deal, huge deal, that those teams had to shut down. And only one of them, St. John's, became a big deal today as far as a major college program. CCNY is a Division III. So is NYU. These were Division I schools back in the 50s. Had that never happened, you would have had loads of players coming here, and they would have been used to playing in the city and things like that. Manhattan College was another one. Columbia was a big time school. And everything in New York college, because of the college basketball betting scandal, point shaving scandal, pretty much the whole culture went away. And again, as the NBA, this is the same time when the NBA was a fledgling league. But they did the territorial draft based on where people went to college. If those 5 programs were big, then the Knicks would have had a lot of good college players placed from the territorial draft, or we wouldn't be what the Celtics are. Again, the Celtics got to get a Rob Cousy, who went to Holy Cross. Maybe Rob Cousy and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And again, I know by the time Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goes to college, the territorial draft is no longer a thing. But again, maybe he stays in town. There is no him going out to LA, UCLA to play for John Wooden. One of the big programs would have been here in New York. But again, I'm not going to bore with that. That's something, again, that's just something the Knicks have to get over with. The Knicks have to become, and I think we are becoming a first class organization. Thibodeau has got to go. Thibodeau's got to go. And again, it's no referendum on the job he did. I think he did an admirable job. But Thibodeau has proven, again, and it's a shame that it comes down to one playoff season, but that's the way it goes. Everything he did coming out of 2 weeks, because again, that's your job, is to prepare the team to be the best. And in these 2 weeks, these 2 important weeks, you beat Boston, great. You beat up on Joe Mazzulla. You beat up on JB Bickerstaff. To me, those coaches are average coaches at best. And you're a good coach. You're a very good coach. You're a good coach, a very good coach. Well, a better very good coach in Carlisle took your food. I think the great coaches, you can call Kerr, you can call, Dagno. Nick Nurse, maybe. There are no Pat Rileys. There are no Red Auerbachs. There are no, there even no Larry Browns, man. There are no Phil Jacksons right now. Phil Jackson, I never thought he was I never thought he was an all-time coach. He was a great coach because he was great in his role. He knew how to work a staff. Again, you don't win 11 championships as a coach and not be considered a great coach. Because even Red Auerbach didn't do that as a coach. He won 9. Okay, so again, the great coaches. I mean, the great coaches, the legendary coaches. There are none right now. But yeah, we're gonna look. I just again, I'm consistent. We need an offensive innovator. We need, again, the moves that we can make. We can get into it later. I mean, real right. The first 2 people I'm going at. Again, a lot of people might. Second guy, people might not agree with because they don't understand. Like, yes, he's a 4 player, but he's very talented. But I'm gonna go. The first guy is Giannis, and the second guy is LaMelo Ball. Third guy, and this depends on how his case work out, is Zion Williamson. Again, these are dynamic talents that I think will open up a lot for the Knicks. I think they can become the stars, the true superstars that we might need. Again, I think Brunson is an absolute true superstar. I'm gonna give you crap for how you play uneven in this series, but Brunson is absolutely a superstar. Again, you don't put up the numbers he put. You don't become a clutch. Look, he was not clutch tonight. It was tough. The game snowball. The Sixers, I mean, the Pacers can snowball on you. They can definitely snowball on you. They proved it. It was a good series. It was a good fought series. But then again, it's just the Knicks have got to put themselves in a position where they expect to win. First, you got to expect to compete for a championship, contend for a championship. We did that. There's no doubt about it. The Knicks were contenders this year. Everybody wrote us off. Again, you wrote us off. You didn't write a team like the Pacers off. What did the Pacers have that we did? Coming in. I'm just saying coming in. Because you all picked them to lose. You might have picked them to beat Milwaukee given their situation with Dame. But if Dame was healthy, you wouldn't have picked the Pacers. And everybody picked the Pacers to lose easily. Either way, the Knicks finished with a top 5 record. Shout out to FYF Sports who came and tried to liken the Knicks to a 12 seed that made the Final Four. Come on, man. Pump your fucking brakes. We had the 5th best record in the league. You're the guy that said that PJ Tucker, the guy sitting at the end of our bench, would have been the key to the Knicks, the Lakers' defensive woes. And that was obviously was a lot more than that. There's so much casual. A lot of people only know the 3 old guys, LeBron, Steph, and Curry. They don't know. They don't sit there and watch these young players. They wait till they've had a good month and all of a sudden you know everything about certain guys. Look, certain guys can sit there. If you can't sit there and say, I know this guy's going to be next up, I say that all the time because I watch at lower levels. I watch ball come up. Like Jalen Green, again, he had a tough pro season. I knew he was going to be something. I like LaMelo. Obviously, people knew about LaMelo Ball. He was a goofy kid when his brother was a rookie, but then you saw him grow. You saw him grow into a legit 6'7", just a dynamic, a guy who can cook people on offense, a great passer. And again, that's why I'm gonna go after LaMelo Ball. Again, I know the injury issues, and I know, the showboat and the hot dog. It might not be. But he's such a good dynamic playmaker that you put the right coach around him. You give him the right structure. You play him next to a steady guy like Jalen Brunson, and you might have a good 1-2 punch out of the backcourt. It's again the specifics of the move. I just know one thing. I know the Knicks have to get better offensively. We have to get better offense, and it's all there. We played great offense when it comes to numbers wise, but we did not play great at offense when it came to execution wise. And then the numbers can say what they want, but when the Knicks needed a dominant offensive effort, where we take the pressure off the defense, because to play defense an effort in this league and hold teams under the average is not as easy said than done. It takes a lot out of you physically. Again, the Knicks have structural problem with Karl Towns. Him at center we can't go forward with it. He's got to be the power forward, and if we don't get a reliable center deal to keep Cat at the 4, the position where he really has to play if you want to get to a playoffs, you got to do it. You got to do it. You're either gonna have to move him or keep him at the 4. And then Mitchell, again, that's contingent on Mitchell Robinson being there. But again, we're gonna be in the market for big men for sure. We're gonna be in the market for a guard and possibly a couple of wing players, a shooter, whatever. There are moves to be made, man. And then we need a player that understands you don't bury people on the bench to run your archaic eight man rotation all through the season. It's just asinine. Again, I don't believe that he runs people into the ground. I do believe what happens is the stagnation and not letting players who are on the bench. Again, we got a 19-year-old rookie who needs some development. We got guys that just need to have their roles grow or at least get a role. Right now, pressure issues like Precious Achua. I don't know if we did because Shamet got hurt in the preseason. I would love to bring Precious Achua back. He might be better off serving going somewhere where he could get a solid rotation minutes. It's tough for him to start with the hamstring and everything. But again, we gotta bring in size. We gotta bring in rebounders. We became one of the worst rebounding teams in the league this year. Bit us in the ass in the playoffs. Bit us in the ass, especially this game. With those places, we're just just running out second opportunities, just based off effort, just based off poor technique. So again, I'm very optimistic, man. They're gonna have a big off season. It's gonna be a PR fracas, but I know I gotta know that Leon Rose sees what I see, and it's not that Tim is a bad coach. He's just not the coach to bring everything that need out of this roster to get to that championship level. And that's what it is, man. We ain't got time to play. Thibodeau is 67 years old. He can, salute. Great job done over the 5 years. But, the incremental, we didn't take 2 steps ahead. We took a step year by year. I understand the second year, was a little rough. Again, the best point guard they could get you was Kemba Walker. And no disrespect to Kemba, right? Another New York hero. But he just you see the flashes of what he was offensively. It wasn't consistent in the defensive effort. So I understand why Tibbs decided to bench him and really took him out of the rotation until he needed him. But yeah, that's the thing, man. And Tibbs will demote you all the way. I mean, the campaign deserved it after that second year Foley shot. He took 2 of them. That's the crazy part. Well, one of them went straight to the. I mean, again, and I thought it had to be blocked the way it went up. No. But yeah, man, your boy's getting sleepy. Like I said, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough knowing that another year is over. But I'm built for this, man. I'm built for this, and the Knicks are built. The Knicks gotta be built to come take the next step. We're not a poverty franchise. The so-called great franchises who's watching us in this round. Because Indiana, OKC, and Minnesota, all small markets or whatever. But yeah, you got as I said, you got a cornfield finals. OKC versus. You're gonna see a lot of cornfields in the area, but around these. But no. Shout out to the Pacers. Good job, good win. Again, you go to the finals on 2 times you've been to the finals in your history. You did it beating the Knicks. So salute to you guys. It's 6-3 in my lifetime. Who would have thought? 6-3 Pacers over the Knicks in my lifetime. I was just seeing they just find a way in our way. But look, people said Philly's gonna be dog doodle next year. Let's keep it real. Like Embiid is almost to the point we need to hang it up. And they're already trying to get rid of Paul George. Come on, they're sick of the Embiid process right now. So I'll get into the all-season prognostications, but salute for the Knicks fans that they actually came out and watched it. Actually came out and watched the team, watched tonight. Salute to the Knicks fan, man, because again, this ride will continue we will pick this up next year, man. But it was fun. It really was fun. For all those who say we throw suck my dick. Let's keep it real. Peace.